We're rolling. Let me just make sure that everything's still cooking.
Yeah.
We're on, baby.
Yeah. Cool.
We are on. All right, we're here.
We are.
did it.
Good Things 2025, Brisbane leg. These guys must be tired because it's been Melbourne, Sydney finishing things off. There must be a little bit of you that's happy to get this out of the way now, I guess.
I think today is probably the most excited I've been out of the three because we don't have to play and then go straight to the airport and fly to the next city. So at least today we can hang around and try to watch a few bands.
Yeah, what's it been like so far for you guys? I mean, Good Things, hot and sweaty. The weather's been just belting the whole time. I mean, how's it felt being on the ground?
Look, it's been awesome. Obviously, we've done festivals here in Australia before. We did the Warped Tour, we did Soundwaves. We did the Warped Tour in the US a lot. We did a summer tour, at least in the US, a couple months ago. I mean, we're used to playing outside in the heat. We're from Florida, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's been amazing just to be back here because the Australian fans have always been awesome for us. They didn't go anywhere, even though it's been 8 years, and just we've been having such a great time. I don't want it to end. I really don't. We have one more sideshow in 2 days at Sunshine Coast, and then we got to go back. So hopefully this happens again soon.
Are you going to take some time over the next couple of days to do a bit of exploring? I mean, the cricket's on just down the road at the Gabba. You can check out some Australia v England.
I know the exploring that I'm going to do tomorrow. So I got a direct message probably like a month ago. And the guy's like, hey, sorry to bother you, but I do some of the writing and the animation for a show called Bluey. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, of course we've heard of it. We got kids. And he's like, I'd love to have you guys come by the studio if you have a day off in Brisbane. And I'm like, actually, we do, because it's kind of the first day off that we've had. So I know some people are going to go to the zoo tomorrow, but I know me and Cyrus are going to go. So I got the guy into the show today. He's going to come to the show, go to the studio tomorrow, get to see some cool stuff. So for me, that's kind of like exciting sightseeing because we've kind of done a lot of the other sightseeing the other times we've been here. So getting to do something like new and unique is pretty cool.
And look, we're shitty Americans, right? So I don't understand your sports out here. So AFL and cricket and rugby, and I just don't get it. Sorry.
Well, I'm a big NFL guy as well. You a Tampa Bucks?
No, Miami Dolphins. Unfortunately,
Go
Dolphs.
I mean, they were good before I was born, and then it's just been heartache and heartbreak every year since.
It's tough.
And my older brother actually works for the Dolphins. He's worked for them for 28 years or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's
pretty
been
cool.
through it.
Maybe he's the reason why they're not good. And sorry, Jarrett.
Hey, I was just saying to you guys off air that Catalyst holds a very special place in my life. I was 14 when it came out, so peak age for that, and I still listen to it to this day. But the new album's coming out in February. Listen up. I've been lucky enough to get an advance copy. It's awesome. It is so good. You guys must be super proud.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was this record was super cool the way we went about writing it. We just had me, Chad, and Cyrus in Chad's house, just in his loft. Jordan was out on a family vacation in Japan, so we were kind of sending him messages back and forth. But we kind of just sat down. Cyrus had a guitar in his hand, which was awesome.
Nice.
So he had a guitar, Chad had a guitar, I had a bass. We just kind of sat in a circle, and we'd sit there kind of jamming songs, giving ideas, and Chad had 80 different riffs and different bridges on his phone, and just kind of going through and picking which ones we liked the most. So I think for that sake, it was kind of cool, and we didn't really sit out and say, hey, this is the record we're going to do. So I like the fact that there's a little bit of this, there's a little bit of that, there's heavier songs, there's mellower songs, there's kind of punkish songs. It just kind of gives you a little bit of everything. So, because we've had different records, so it's whatever kind of fan you are of our band, there'll be something for you on this record.
I was going to talk about that as well, because the singles that everybody's been able to get around feel like they have a prevailing narrative of just positivity and just getting through it. Does that feel sort of where you guys have been at in this stage of your career, where it's sort of so much touring, so much playing, but then you also get anchoring with your families and everything? Is that the feeling of the record, just positivity and just trying to send that message to the fans?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of the themes of the record. We've always been a band that tries to write about things that we're going through. We don't want to be that band that just talks about something because we're supposed to or whatever. So we don't tell you how to think or who to vote for or any of that.
Yeah.
But we're going through things, and that's ever changing. And I think every record for us is really looking at what we've gone through for the last few years. And obviously with Chad's cancer diagnosis and his kind of journey through that, and all of us having to also deal with that, that's going to bring up some of these things on the record. So the positivity is one of those things. Chad is a very positive person, despite what's happening. And then you even have songs like Treat Yourself, which we just released as a single like a month ago. That's really looking at, hey, life is life, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be specific to like what Chad's going through. Everybody has like stress, especially nowadays. And it's like every now and then you got to step back and take yourself away from that and just kind of think about yourself, right?
It feels real. I would say listening to the lyrics and listening to the way that, especially like in 100%, where you've got like all these. I feel like harmonically and musically, like it reflects the feeling as well. All these like different, like it's like halftime, full time, double time, back to halftime again. And it's such a, I don't know. I feel like it's such an authentic portrayal of that, and it really comes across in the music. So you guys, I can't wait for everybody to get around the album.
Well, cool, thank you. And again, like what Ian was saying, the way that we wrote this record, like it's very riff centric. Chad's had a lot of time on his hands because unfortunately he can't travel with us that much. So he would just, when inspiration strikes for him nowadays with the phone, you just grab it and hit record on a voice memo and take an acoustic guitar and just record a little tiny thing. And like he had all these riffs, but not all of them were like connected. And so we sat there for like 10 straight days, just like mapping out can this go to this, or, we're missing a part, so do we just go through it? And he would like scroll through all these voice memos, and I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, so we can do that one, but we got to try this chord to make it work. But it was cool to like put it together like that. And again, it's like, because we're taking riffs, that's like what we do best, is we write these crazy riffs, these heavy, like energetic riffs, and then we put lyrics and catchy melodies on top. And that's like literally the recipe for a Newfound Glory song. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're doing what we're comfortable and what feels best to us, right?
Yeah, I think this record is more like Catalyst in that sense, where if you took like Catalyst and you took all like the vocals off, there's just catchy riffs. So like the riffs kind of have hooks to them. And I feel like that's how this record is, where even before we had the lyrics and the melodies, like just the riffs themselves had like hooks themselves.
It's probably why I'm enjoying it so much. It's very Catalyst heavy. Now, you touched on it before, stresses everyone, and like I guess at the moment everyone just feels it, the last 5 years especially with everything that's going on. Have you felt like being in a band that just the thirst for nostalgia, and especially the pop punk scene, has just come way back? Like in the last few years, Blink-182's come back big. Yellow Car's just brought out a new album with Travis Barker. Like Avril Lavigne's bringing out new music. Have you felt that in where you're at?
I would say, me personally, I can't speak for everyone. I just kind of look at it differently because we're one of those bands where we never stopped.
It's true.
We never took a hiatus. So for us, it was always there. Even when it wasn't in like the forefront of the internet, we still had great shows. We still had our fans coming to our shows. But I think honestly, I think the biggest thing was during COVID. I think when Machine Gun Kelly did the record with Travis,
Tickets to a Downfall.
I think that just so many people were at home with nothing to do. That so many people, even that didn't listen to pop punk, kind of like lurched onto that and found out a whole bunch of bands that they never knew existed. And I think that's honestly what I think helped a lot.
Wow.
Look, and
it's MGK.
Well, and this genre, I think, has always been about the same thing. It came from punk, right? And then you add these pop elements, which like these catchy lyrics and melodies and identifiable stuff. But, it's always been about being real, right? This isn't really the genre where people just like, we talked about it. Record labels got involved and tried to kind of manufacture bands. But, the bands that are still here, the Green Days and the Blinks, and everybody's themselves. And they're just doing what they've always done. And, I think everybody writes the music for themselves, what they want to like listen or play, and writing about what they want to, talk about. And that, I think, is what allows pop punk or just punk in general to kind of survive whenever. But yeah, like Ian said, I think we're the ones who are sitting here going to all these other bands like, hey, welcome back to the party. We kept the seat warm for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I know like Tom coming back to Blink was obviously huge
for sure
for fans. So you know what I mean?
And I imagine you guys are fans too. So like it's like people see you guys and it's like they're your biggest fan, but like you guys are also in the scene and like it must feel good seeing that happen like as a peer.
I just think for me, I used to go see Blink play before Newfound, like during like Cheshire Cat. I would go when Scott was still in the band. I would go to all their shows and I knew them back then and I know how hard they worked. So they're one of those bands where no matter what anyone says, I know that they deserve every bit of success and popularity that they've gotten because excuse my French, but they busted their fucking ass to get where they're at.
Yeah.
And they deserve every bit of it.
Now, I'm going to use that as a segue to talk the same thing about you guys, because the same token, every bit of success that you guys have found is so well deserved. And when you look at the lineup that we have today at Good Things, there's bands on this lineup that their literal name was inspired by you guys. I mean, we don't need to go through the rigmarole of all that because everybody knows that by now. But, you know, it must be equal parts like humbling and also, I don't know, maybe like inspiring in a sense that, like, you know, you guys have been able to champion those bands that are coming through now, but then you're also still bringing out kick-ass records in 2025. But the question I wanted to ask you guys is that, like, even at that position of, you know, being a stalwart, like, who's inspiring you? Like, what are you listening to that still gets you up? Obviously, you're wearing an AC/DC shirt today, paying homage to the big guns here. But like, what is it that you listen to and you think, shit, we need to play more, we need to write more? Like, what gets you up?
Well, I mean, that question is a loaded question, and like, if you talk about actual musical influences or what you're listening to now, he's going to be completely different than me. Jordan's different than that.
Yeah.
I think as far as like the punk or pop punk kind of thing, one band that we can always say, Less Than Jake, is a band that you know, we don't sound like them.
Yeah.
However, when we were first coming up, of course, we would go to their shows because that was huge in the mid to late 90s. We would see them on Warped Tour in South Florida and all that stuff. Then when we first started getting success, they were one of the first bands to pull us on tour and recognize that we were a band that, you know, had some momentum and wanted to work hard. And then as we came up together, like, I think they're always kind of served as a mentor for us on not like what music to play, but how to be, more importantly, and how to be in a band and how to like conduct yourself and how to work hard. And if you look, they're still doing it themselves. So are we. And so like, I always look to them because it's like almost like if Less Than Jake can do it, we can do it, right?
They paved the way.
Yeah, but then you even have bands like Green Day that, you know, they're still here. Offspring, we were just on tour, Offspring. You know, these are bands that without them, none of us would be here because they literally paved the way for all of us, right? So there's a lot of respect, you know, for bands like that. And then you tip the hat to bands that have taken their name from us or have been influenced by us. And that's, we didn't set out to do that. But, you know,
must feel good, though.
But just like we talk about Less Than Jake, you know, inspired us in what different ways, or bands like Blink or Unwritten Law or whatever, you know, like now we have bands saying that about us, and it is very humbling.
It's awesome. I mean, listen, there's bands that influence us. There's bands that will be influenced by us, which will then in return influence other bands. And I think the biggest thing is just to keep it going and to show people that you could be a real person and be in a band. And you don't need to have an ego and be cocky to be like successful. And I think for us, it was never like, oh, we want money or this or that to be successful. For us, we just wanted a tour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Going back to Less Than Jake really quick, I think that on and off the stage, they are that one band that like I can't ever give enough credit to. Like, I know, like, when I went through my divorce and like my darkest times, Chris, the singer of Less Than Jake, flew to my house and stayed with me a few days. And like the things that he would talk to me about stuck with me and helped more than like therapy did. And so just those guys we owe a ton to, not just in music, but just in life in general. Just the best dudes on and off the stage.
Awesome, man. I mean, you guys are you're the good guys of pop punk. You've paved the way for so many others, and you're about to go and play a massive show today. We can't keep you any longer. We'd love to chat all day, but it's been such a pleasure, and honestly, like, all the best. We'd love to have you down under again sometime soon. For anybody, anybody who didn't get to see Good Things, or you guys in your side shows, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a special one today, the last day of the tour. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, hey, next time it won't be 8 years. I would love to promise.
Well, new album means new tour, right?
Yes, exactly. There you go. You got it. You're doing the math. I like it.
All right, well, enjoy Bluey, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Guys.
Yeah.
Really, really